Hello dear listeners, and welcome back to Bezo Tales. Today I'm going to share with you a story that has been passed down for generations. Long ago in the hills of Nagaland where the owl people lived, Lijaba, the great creator and guardian of the tribe, noticed something troubling. The people had grown distant from one another. They no longer gathered to share stories, no longer offered help to neighbors, and no longer cared for strangers. The values Lijaba had once taught them, kindness, generosity, and community, was slowly fading away. In their place, greed and selfishness were taking root. Lijaba watched silently for a time, hoping the people would find their way back. But things only worsened. He decided it was time to remind them of what truly mattered. He would not come with thunder or lightning. He would not appear in shining robes or speak from the clouds. Instead, Lijaba chose to walk among his people as a poor homeless old man, hoping to reach their hearts in a humble way. He dressed himself in tattered clothes. His hair grew unkempt, his feet were dusty, and he carried no food or belongings. One quiet evening, he began his journey. He traveled from village to village, knocking on doors, asking gently for a little food or shelter. But the people had changed. At every house, he was turned away. Some ignored him. Others closed their doors without a word. Some told him they had nothing to give, even when their homes were full. Their hearts had grown cold. For many days he wandered like this, sleeping under trees and drinking from streams. Still, no one offered him kindness. Finally, he came to the edge of a small village. There, at the foot of a hill, stood a small worn-down hut. It looked fragile, with cracked walls and a roof patched with old cloth. Inside lived two sisters. They were poor. Their clothes were faded, and their food was just enough for each day. But their hearts were warm and full of love. That evening, as the sun began to set, Lijaba knocked on their door. The sisters opened it, surprised to see an old man standing there, tired and dusty. "Please," he said, "I've traveled far and have nothing. May I rest here for the night?" The sisters didn't hesitate. "We don't have much," said the older one. "But what we have, we will gladly share." They gave him their only blanket to keep warm. They fetched water for him to wash his feet. With the little food they had, they prepared a small meal and sat together, eating quietly by the fire. That night, they listened to his stories and spoke with kindness and patience. They asked nothing of him and gave all they could. In the morning, as he prepared to leave, the old man stood tall and smiled. "You opened your hearts to a stranger," he said. "When others turned me away, you welcomed me without question." Then, to their amazement, he revealed who he truly was, Lijaba, the creator who had watched over them since the beginning. The sisters fell to their knees in awe. Lijaba lifted his hand, and a warm wind swept through the hut. The cracks in the walls vanished. The roof became strong. Their home was transformed, simple but beautiful, sturdy and warm. Outside, their dry fields turned green, filled with crops and fruit trees. Birds sang in the trees, and a small stream flowed nearby. The sisters now had more than enough, not only for themselves, but enough to help others too. News of the miracle spread quickly through the village. The people came, curious and amazed. When the sisters shared what had happened, the villagers were filled with shame. They remembered the old man they had turned away. They realized they had rejected their own creator. But Lijaba was not angry. He had come to teach. From that day forward, the village changed. People began to care for one another again. They opened their homes, shared their food, and helped strangers without hesitation. Kindness returned to the hills, and the spirit of community grew strong once more. Lijaba, pleased with the change, watched from above with a quiet smile. His people had remembered. And so, the Owl people passed this story from one generation to the next, to remind each other that kindness, even in the smallest acts, carries great power. True wealth is not in gold or food or land, but in how we treat one another. Thank you so much for listening to Bezo Tales. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you liked the story, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us for more tales from the Northeast. And if there's anything you didn't like, let us know in the comments below. We're always looking to improve and bring you the best stories.